Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nasha and we are playing KSP 1.3. For a couple of days ago they actually added a patch, so KSP is up to 1.31. I haven't upgraded yet because of my mods. I rather wait a while until everything is working, so that's the reason why I play 1.3 right now. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go to build a carrier that can carry this extra large rover that can't fit inside a shipping bay or a payload one. It's too big for that. It's too big to put inside a fairing too. So yeah, so we're gonna build something that can transport this rover to the moon. I've decided to use Yamadiah to be our pilot. I was thinking about doing an unmanned ship that will take us to the moon, but we never use Yamadiah, so I thought it would be fun to take him out for a spin. So as Yamadiah is a pilot, I added some science things here, science experience that you don't need to reset. As he is a pilot, he can't reset experiments. I added some solar panels here to charge the batteries, so we can use this extra reaction wheel just to make everything more simple. So this is the part that will go re-entering to Kerbin. So I'm using my new favorite part here. A heat shield that is super big. It really creates a lot of drag and slow our speed, so it's really easy to re-enter while using that, so that's why I choose to go with it. It's my new favorite part here. So what we need to do now, we have to think backwards here. So how do we take this part to re-enter into Kerbin? Yes, we need something to take us from the moon's surface all the way to Kerbin. And it doesn't take a lot of delta V here, so we will add a small tank. I think you can do it around 1000 delta V if you are in a hard spot. You can get away with just 1000. So this will add, by using the poodle here, it will add a lot of delta V for this tank. So we should not be worried about not having enough delta V. We could get away with half of that with no problem at all. All you have to do is get the orbit around the moon and then just drop out of the moon's sphere of influence and into Kerbin. It doesn't take a lot of delta V here. So let's get another Rocket Max here. So now we have that stage left. So now we need to build the stage that will take us let me think here. The stage will land, go from the Kerbin orbit all the way to the moon and land there with our rover. So we need a quite hefty part and one that is easy to land. So let's go with that. Okay, cool. So what I need to start here, because this will be a special solution, as none of the shipping bins or the fairings will contain our X-Large rover here. So we need a special solution for this. So I will first start with a large reaction wheel. The reason for this is because the rocket will be built today will be very compact. So this will be around center of mass. Center of mass will be around here when we are finished, so this will make it a tiny bit easier. So cool, so let's add our special solution here. And here we have it. And this thing, when we look up here, it will, when the drag is created when we are launching from Kerbin out to orbit, our rover will be under here. So let's get our rover, place it under here. And the cool thing is now it's outside the drag. So that means it's safe to fly. It will not be weird to fly at all, because it's just the corners of the wheel sticking out, and I don't think that will matter. So cool. So what we want to do with our rover here, so we don't create any weird problems, is actually disable the engines. Otherwise they will be active while we are flying. I'm not sure how to disable the whole part when you have attached one of these things here. Okay, so that was that. Now our rover is safe from drag and will not mess things up for us. We will add the lander engines here. So let's see here. Cool there. And then we will go. We need, so going from going from Kerbin orbit all the way to the moon and land will take around 1800 delta V if everything is optimal. But it really is. So we will go a little bit more here. So yeah, let's just for education purposes add this. So this will put us more than enough to land on the moon with our lander and have enough landing gear to land there. Wow, that was a weird sentence. What I mean is this is more than enough to go from Kerbin and land on the moon, but I want some extra, and how we design is here is important to get the landing gear, otherwise we will land on the rover. It will be a cool experience to run around on the moon with a rover with an attached rocket on top of it, but I don't think it's optimal, so let's forget that thought, and I will just add some more here. And this should be more than enough. So now we have a lot of delta V to land, so we can actually, we don't have to worry about it. And it's not for a big cost either, so it will not cost us a lot of weight for that. So okay, so let's add some landing struts. And if we can visually see here that our rover we will not land on our rover, so we don't have to worry. The landing gear is there, so that should work very fine here. So let's add some nose cone to our landing part here, so it doesn't create drags while we are trying to escape Kerbin here. So let's find those. There we go. So now we have only one stage left, and that is the stage that will take us from the launch pad all the way to orbit. I will say around orbit around 85,000 meters will be good. This is a really rare rocket, so I think I'm gonna over-engineer it here, so we have enough delta V to take us all the way. So usually you need about 3,600 delta V to go to orbit if you fly optimally with a gravity run. But I think this rocket will be very easy to fly, but I'd rather have some extra because it's a weird rocket. You never know how to fly. So why is that important? Yeah, because I'm gonna actually do everything as a tribute to just see how far I come in the game. I learned a lot since starting playing this game. I want to find out how I measure it will take 2 episodes for me to do everything. Usually I speed up the launches and so on. I don't want to do it this time. I will do everything manually and so on. So yeah, what we're talking about, we need around 3,600 delta V to leave Kerbin and go to orbit. So I want to over-design this. The reason for that is easy. Oh, what did I do there? Yeah, because this rocket is a little bit weird, as I said a couple of times already. Let's see. So let's start creating a rocket here. We'll be using mainsail engines as they are very effective at atmosphere, so let's see there. So let's stack them here. Okay, so this should create a quite... Let's see how much we land on if I add some mainsail angles here. So I want around 3,800 delta V like we have here. So that's really, really good when we have a thrust to weight ratio of 1.71 or 1.57 at launch pad. So let's just make sure this will add another 100, I think. Yeah, just to make it cool. So let's see here. I'm looking for the nose cones. I can copy those one I've already had. So it costs us 5 delta V. So this is going to be more than enough for us to go to orbit, even that things go wrong here. So I have some insurance here. So as you can see, this will be a very unstable thing. So we need to strut this up, otherwise this will flop around like crazy. So first I want to think, let's see our center of mass. It's around here, so that is good. That is good for me. So we want to check the aerodynamic profile too. So it's up there, we want that to be here, so it will be easy to steer. Okay, so let's find where the aerodynamic stuff. Let's go with these big wings here. Yes, that is more than enough to keep. It will drag. It will work as an arrow, so it means it will help us to go straight, which is important here. Okay, cool. Let's start strutting this thing up. First of all, let's start by strutting our lander part here first. Okay, cool, so that's a little bit more stable. Yes. Struts is very inexpensive, so there's no reason to cheap out on them, so I will go with some extra struts. That will be more than enough. After all, this is our lander part on the moon, but it will keep things straight while we are flying here. So to add some stability, I think I will first, I want to add it like this. Okay, cool. So that will add some stability for this one, because it will connect them to each other, so they work in one spot there. So let's start adding some more here. Press U. Okay, cool. So that will add some more. Cool, let's add some here. Okay, let's add on this part too. It is this one I use. I think it is this one, so if you could search on, and that is what, if you press UK, it will help you just place struts on everything. It can be really useful. So let's add here too, so we okay, let's check out our strutting here. We strut around like a chicken. It should keep everything safe here, I think. Maybe we should... Yeah, I think that should be more than enough. So, what we need to do now is the last part, is the most important part, because if you do this wrong, 30 minutes later everything can be very complicated. So let's start here by going through the stages. So let's start with stage 0 here. That is the last parachute I will use. And here we have our drogues, they will slow us down. Then we will decouple. Yeah, that we want to decouple there so we can inflate our heat shield. And then we need to go to the part, which is the part that will take us from the moon to Kerbin. So let's see here. So everything is correct. And that's correct. Let's see. Okay, we are that one. We want to put our rover on its own stage, and let's put it on top so we don't accidentally activate it. So that... Okay, cool. So now we are moon to Kerbin. Now the lander part. Okay, so this is lander part. Let's see if this is correct. And then we have the launcher part. Yes, everything is correct. So we can... That's awesome news for us. So let's save and we will start flying this week. Oh, wait. We want to add some launch clamps because it will create an easier thing here. So what you want to do always with launch pad is to place them above the center of mass, because then you will have the mass pulling down here from Kerbin. The mass will be up there, so it will not tilt around and so on. It will make for an easier launch. Okay, cool. So let's see. They are at the same stage at our launch areas. Good. Let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had some tracking problems, so I had to restart the launch here because my navigation tool stopped working mid-flight, so I have to revert my launch here. And the thing I want to show you guys is that when you insert your launch clamps above the center of the mast, you can see as our nav ball here, we are not moving at all. So that's the reason why you do that, in case you don't know why. So let's throttle up as our launch thrust rate is 1.49, and the first thing I do is go straight up until I hit 50 meters per second. Then I will tilt myself until my ship is at a 75 degrees angle. So we have hit there, so let's tilt very slowly. I usually follow inside the prograde here, so we don't tilt too aggressively, so we lose control over our ship. Okay, so I want to throttle down here. I want to stay below 1.7. This should be a very easy ship to fly here. So what I'm trying to do right now is throttle down and try to angle myself around 60 degrees until I hit 5,000 meters. I want to hit 45 degrees slowly when I hit 10,000 meters. So that is what I'm working at now. At the same time I'm talking and looking at free numbers. So yeah, it's not a very bad. That's why one of the reasons why I don't like to do commentary while I'm launching things. So, but it was a long time since I did it, so I thought it could be a fun thing to do again. Okay, cool. So 1.7 there, so we will keep working here. It's going fast here. We're gonna go slowly here. I want to stay under 1.7 thrust to rate ratio, so we don't go too fast, especially here in the fat part of the atmosphere. I'm really hoping the navigation tools are working this time. I think I will do a quick save before I try again here. So what I'm working here, I'm slowly following the prograde here, slowly here, until I'm about 30 degree angle, because then you want to build some height too, so you don't want to tilt your ship a little too much here. Another thing I'm trying to do here is to stay on the 90 degree angle, because that will make it easy for us to go to moon, because we would probably just be able to go prograde, as we will be at the same angle as the moon. Okay, so I forgot about throttling down here. It's not a big deal, but that's why I like to have extra delta V, so I'm slowing here. Okay, so we are soon limiting we can see some impact on our ship here. It's nothing to care about. We are quite high up. It will be better soon here. So as soon as I hit 85,000 meters, I will cut my throttle, and then I will use my navigation tools to plot the last part of the course. So a gravity works is quite apparent. If you look here, we have the curvature of Kerbin here, so we are actually falling a bit. So that's why you save some delta V by doing it. That's how I understand it. It's completely wrong, but it works. It works. Oh, I forgot to throttle down again. Let's throttle down again. So I'm going on 1/4 of the throttle. We have quite a high speed here, so that's good. As we can see, our horizontal speed is around 1500. You need about 2400 to make orbit. we are slowly building speed. So this is the slow part of the descent here. So I want to be around 85,000 meters, so I have some room to maneuver. Let's straighten our ship a bit. We have one around 800 delta V left, so it's good here. We are still building some height here. And we're getting close to it. Cool. Let's throttle down there. We will lose, as you can see, we will lose some height here. It's just because we are still in the atmosphere, so it means that we are braking a little bit here. So let's see if my maneuver works. Okay, it works now. I'm doing this manually. There is a circle lines here on the thing here. So let's see how much delta V I lead. Okay, cool. So that's a good maneuver. We'll execute that one. Let's point inside the maneuver here. We're still in the atmosphere, so it looks good from here. I'm just getting to the maneuver before, because if you time warp, you will stay inside the maneuver. And I want to do that because we have a very small correction here, only around 250 delta V. So that worked out fine. So let's warp here. So we want to burn for 5 seconds. I think I want to zoom out so I'm seeing what I'm doing. So that is 30 seconds. And it will more or less line up with the prograde here. I will wait manually here so when nothing goes wrong. It's always the best. I really hate when you overshoot and maneuver, especially here when you are going to orbit, because that means you have to restart everything. So it's time soon. So around 3 seconds I will start my burn. What I was looking for was when the periapsis, I can never periapsis and apoapsis. It's really hard for me to say, but when they start flipping around, that means you have an orbit that is close to each other, so that's cool. The cool thing is that we was over designing our launcher part here with 3,800, so that means we was at 3,400 delta V. That was a really good launch. That was a very perfect launch almost. Okay, so let's target our moon. So now we can check the so this is the angle we are off 0.4. So that will be very easy to, as you can see, our orbit is matching the orbit of the moon. That's why I launched here at a 90-degree angle, because that will make everything easy. I think we can decouple our parts here. Really interesting to see this thing decouple. So it wouldn't work very well inside the atmosphere to have set up your engines in this way. That would be a disaster. But here in the weightless environment, the reaction force from our decouplers is enough to keep our ship safe. And as you can see, it was a very easy work to get this thing to orbit, even when we have attached a super large rover there. And we can see the moon is more or less straight for us. So you can see there is our target and there is our prograde. So if I want go prograde until this line up, you can do that in the manual way. But we will set up a maneuver. I'm thinking, where should we set it up? Around here, I think. So let's dial in around 750. As you can see, it's super simple when you launch from... I remember how much I work with it, but it really helps out to launch. Now I really don't like approaches like this, because it's really hard to see what's going on. Let's see if we can delay. That's a really weird launch too. Okay, so let's see. Let's click on that. So that's the lowest point on the moon. We want it to be around 60,000 meters, or at 40. Let's go for 30. I really hate that you can't keep the number like that. Okay, that's good enough for me. So let's move ourselves. Well, we are more or less in the maneuver already. So what we need is a 17. First, let's burn. We haven't activated our engine yet, so let's do that. So we get the estimated burn of 2 minutes and 42 seconds. That we have to divide that by 2, because we want to burn one half it before the node here and the rest after it. It really works, that method. I've been using that for a long time. So let's count it. So 1 minute and 21 seconds. Okay, it's time now. 1 minute and 21 seconds. We will start our burn. So now, this is the reason. Look at the height on we can see here from the Kerbin. We're actually lowering it right now. So if you don't have room enough, you can go right into Kerbin and then everything. That will be a short trip for you, because you will never reach the moon. And you can see the prograde, our predicted route, is starting to slowly match up with our target. That means it's correct. They will become closer and closer to each other. That is always a good indication that you have done something right. Okay, we are closing in here, so I will slow my roll a bit, so we can easier match up our orbit here, so I will stay in the maneuver. You can see here. Let's lower our roll a bit more. And we will be slowly going there, so we can match it up. So that's usually how I do it, like, give yourself some room to maneuver here, so. And you can see the curve is almost matching up to our plotted course there. Okay, cool, so we are matching up. So, let's see here. Let's focus on the moon. So we can see our predicted route is right inside the moon there. So let's... And there we have our lowest point. Okay, let's go retrograde a bit. Because we are going in prograde, so going retrograde will shrink this number. Cool, so now we have approached to the moon, so that was not a lot of work. I remember how much I struggled with that before. Okay, so I'm just going back to my ship. I told you guys a lot of times, but here we see this cyan green thing here. It means that we are still in the influence of Kerbin, so we are affected by Kerbins there. When it changed color here, it means that we are being pulled in by the gravity of the moon. So we are influenced by the moon. So there we go. So let's warp all the way there. We can see the moon is arriving. We're going very slowly here. And there we go. So we can probably see the moon if we look for it here. Here we can see the dark side of Kerbin. And over here somewhere we have the moon. So we are finally arriving here, so that's cool. And this will be everything for this episode, and as always, thank you for watching.